Good afternoon, or good day, good morning, wherever you're at. Welcome back. Uh, Today, I'm just going to talk a little bit about writing, particularly screenwriting. Um, as a wannabe screenwriter, I've actually worked on films for many years. I started out as a visual effects artist on about 40 feature films and about 15, 20 TV shows. And of course, I've had the bug to make my own films for a long time. And now, at this point in my life, I've chosen to really put some time behind creating my own content, not only on YouTube, but also developing films and short films. And right now, I'm really focused on short films mainly because being short, they are more achievable as far as completing them goes. However, short films, I think, from my experience so far, also can be very difficult to write because they're short. You have to create more of a story, or more, not more of a story, of a deeper story in a shorter period of time. In in fact, um, and some things I've learned over the years. I've been studying screenwriting for a long time, actually, through books like Save the Cat, um, which is quite good. If you haven't looked at that yet, I would recommend that book. I've also been inspired by various suggestions throughout time. And there's a couple I just want to address today, just to kind of keep this video relatively short. I might add some more videos around this later, but for now, I just really wanted to touch upon these two things because I think for me, they were really helpful in my writing stories and screenplays specifically. Um, One of the suggestions was to write the ending first, whether it's a short film or feature length. Um, Writing the ending, knowing how your story is going to end, goes a long way in the writing process itself. Because when you know how the story is going to end, and you feel strongly confident that the ending is good, um, and it completes the story that you're trying to tell, then from there you can work back to the beginning. And from having that, I'm gonna be careful. My arm is on the table I'm using. Um, and by doing that, it makes leading up to the end a lot easier, I think, because knowing how your story is going to end, you can get a good idea as to how you need to get there. That's kind of how it was suggested to me. And the second suggestion is, if you're working on a story, a script, maybe the first draft or maybe even an outline, and you feel that maybe it's not hitting the marks you want it to hit, or it's not quite ending with the strength you want it to have, consider the possibility of taking another character in the story and retelling it through their eyes based on their wants and needs. And the first time I heard this, obviously it's quite a shift from the original story, but it sounded like a pretty good idea, and it might lead to maybe a stronger script, stronger story. But either way, it would be something to experiment with. And I did try it with a couple outlines of mine, and it's really, obviously, it's a whole new story, but you can still pretty much land on the goal that you're pointing at. But by going through another character, you might be able to give it a whole new life. And another consideration is that maybe that secondary story, the second story through another character, could end up maybe as a sequel to the original. So you could keep the original and maybe create a sequel through that second viewpoint. But either way, I think it's something that's very helpful and very inspiring to experiment with. And if you have any suggestions of your own, please feel free to put them down in the comments, or anything else you suggest, and I would love to read them. So if this is your first time in the channel, welcome. And if you've watched it this far, thank you for staying. So until the next video, see you then.